And now a word from our Awakened Radio sponsors. AwakenedRadio.net is brought to you by AwakenedRadio.net host and those who support our station by shopping at our Awakened store and by making loving contributions and donations to our station each month. We are also supported by TheBarefootGuru.com. Thank you so much for your love and support of the Awakened Radio Network at AwakenedRadio.net. Did you know Awakened Radio has a store slap full of gemstone jewelry, stones, crystals, Donna Devane's autographed books, healing sessions, all sorts of interesting and exciting things. And because Awakened Radio is celebrating our first birthday throughout the month of November, when you visit AwakenedRadio.net and click Awakened Store, look there for a special coupon code that will save you money when you use it at your checkout. It's our way of saying super duper thank you and celebrate the Awakened Radio first birthday with us. Hey, do me a favor. Invite all your friends to our birthday party. The whole month of November, we're going to be celebrating not only with sales in the stores, but with giveaways and contests and all sorts of fun stuff. Join us, AwakenedRadio.net. We're going to have fun on this playground.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello, my friends. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Pernilla Lillerose, your host at Evolutionary Women Radio Show. And happy birthday to AwakenedRadio.net. Happy birthday. We've been doing this for a year. I have not been part of this for a year yet, but I'm certainly glad that I am part of it. This is a wonderful, wonderful way to reach a lot of people, sharing our messages, sharing our heart, sharing our insights, our transformation, all the things that so many of us are going through, and we can share it with others to help you know that you're not alone in this and that we are all moving through a big transformation into a whole new way of being. And these times can be very challenging for a lot of us. That is why it's so nice that we don't have to do it on our own, that we can actually get the support from each other. So I'm grateful to be here on this broadcast with you every week and share with you. And I always love to hear from you. Please join in the chat room. You can go to awakenedradio.net/live chat room. You can also call in if you want at 334-649-7204. You can also Skype in. You just need to add Awakened Radio to your Skype. And lately, you can also follow us and listen to us here on your phone. You just need to go to www.tunein.com. That is TuneIn, TuneIn.com. And that way you can download the free app for your phone. And then all you need to do is search for Awakened Radio, and then you can actually follow us, listen to us, and join in on your phone. So things are expanding, and everything is just moving and getting bigger and better, and we're celebrating our first birthday here. So welcome again, Evolutionary Women Radio. You know, this show is specifically geared towards supporting what I call evolutionary women and help women really step back into their truth, into their power, getting back into your seat. Get back into the seat that is right inside of your heart, because that is where your life will be ruled and guided from in a very, very different way than the outside world can ever do. I know today is a big day. It's election day, and it seems that that is going to make a big change for the world, for the future. We all follow the debates, or maybe not all of us, but many people are following the debates, trying to find out what is the right way, what is the right vote, who to follow, who not to follow. And of course, we need to do that. There are things in the world we need to do. But in my book, I think casting a vote every day for what wants to rule us inside of our heart, that is where true transformation can ever come from. So just casting a vote every 4 years, as important as that may be, casting a vote every single day or even every single moment, and vote for what you know is true in your heart. Know what will make a true transformation, maybe just in your life, but that is going to spread, and that's going to affect your family, your friends, your neighbor, your community. When you start moving from this much, much deeper place inside of you and commit to that, that's where you'll see a change. And I think what you will be seeing is the change that you're longing for, the change that we're all longing for, and we're trying to make it happen, but it can only happen from within. So we need to learn to really listen inside and find out, what is it that we stand for? What is it that our heart votes for every day? You may have heard the saying, if you don't stand for anything, you fall for everything. I can't quote the one who said it. I have it somewhere in my book, but that quote just came to me now. And that's why it is really important to know what you stand for. It's important to stand for something. It doesn't have to be anything outside, concrete. It can be something that is maybe something you sense inside that may even be very vague at this point. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be concrete or tangible. It has to be something that you know inside of you is your truth. Something that you, in a way, don't want to live without. But because so many of us have not taken a full stand for our heart, we keep falling for everything outside of us. We keep falling for what other people say, for what other people do, or for what they say we should say or do. We keep falling for these outside influences. And that's why I feel so passionate about helping you find that place inside of you that you can take a true stand for. Last week, I actually want to talk about commitment, and I think it fits really well in the day today, which is election day. Last week, I started a 31-day blogging challenge, and I didn't really know what I want to write about, what I want to blog about every day, and it could be a different subject every day. But as I started out, I was really looking at this whole idea about commitment, what it means, what it means to me, what it means to other people. I looked in the dictionary, and it's something about something we stand for or even feel dedicated to. And I love the word dedication. It feels to me much more heartfelt. It feels much deeper in the body. So I want to ask you today, what are you committing to? And I'm not just talking who did you vote for. That's the thing on the side. It's part of it, but it's not the real depth of what I'm talking about. What are we committing to individually? What are we committing to as a country, as a state, as a nation, as a planet? What are we committing to? Unfortunately, so many people are committing only to safety, security, and certainty. And that seems to be what is running most of their lives. We actually are biologically programmed to do so. So from that point of view, we cannot really help it. It's something that's built into our system. It's a good thing. If we were not doing it, we might not live very long. So I'm not discarding that by any means. However, as long as this is all we are committed to, we won't be able to change or transform or move into a higher or better way of being. So please know there's nothing wrong with safety. Of course not. And it would be unwise if we didn't consider our safety and everybody else's safety. But safety does not bring aliveness, transformation, inspiration, full expression, all the things that our heart wants, that actually not wants, that our heart is. Our heart is a source of inspiration and aliveness and joy and love. It is all. It is part of the heart. It's what it's made of. It's the portal for those expressions to come through. So if we have been trained to play it safe, we can't quite get in touch with our heart. One way of playing safe is to do and to say what others do and say, or at least do and say what they want us to do or say. We grew up that way. We can't help it. Don't blame yourself or anybody else for that. It's how we grew up. It's what we learned. We were trained to be safe. So it's fine. But there's no reason to only commit to safety. There are so many other things we can commit to. And one that I want to keep pointing out to you is your heart, your wisdom, the aliveness that wants to come through. And especially these days, there is this new energy that is trying to embody itself as you, as me, as all of us. So many of us can feel it inside. And it's pushing us. It's almost like we're being pushed to the edge of our comfort zone, right? And we're not going to feel completely safe and secure and comfortable at that edge. And specifically when we are being asked to move through that edge. But that's what we were being asked to do. And what I've shared with you so many times before on this radio show is it makes it so much easier to know that you're not alone anymore. We are actually doing this together. And I keep pointing out that in this radio show, on Awakened Radio show, and on specifically on Evolutionary Women Radio, I emphasize the importance that we do this together, that we support each other, that we share with each other, because that's the way that a lot of the fear falls away, that we have to do it alone again. I think a lot of us have done this alone in previous lifetimes, if we believe in such a thing. So, and it was scary because there was no support. We thought that we did the wrong thing because things didn't work out the way we thought they would, or the way we were inspired to act, and then things didn't quite happen that way. So it is different this time. We are together. We have access to the radio show like this, and the internet, and email, and Facebook, and Twitter, and all these social media outlets where we can connect with each other and share the wisdoms so that everybody is on board. It's like creating this big web, the World Wide Web of wisdom, of heart wisdom, and we can share it. So nobody is on their own anymore, or at least nobody has to be on their own anymore. And again, if I can bring it back to specifically us women, we have really fallen for that safety trap. It's as if we had to really comply and fit in to the way society wanted us to. Because in the past, if a woman did not comply with the rules of the tribe, it didn't look good for us. We would be expelled, excommunicated, we would be thrown out of the tribe and left on our own. And as a woman, we could not survive. We needed the support of the strong male. We needed the support of the whole tribe to survive, because we are not meant to be out there in the wilderness on our own, left to the animals and the weather and whatever else would take our life away. So that's why I think in a lot of us there is just a deep, deep fear in our genes that is programmed to keep us safe. So it's better to stay in, let's say, in a relationship, at a job, in some kind of a family situation. It's better to stay there and be safe than actually take that step and step up and speak your truth. So I want to just have a lot of compassion for all of us who have been doing that and who are still doing that. It's not a matter of making ourselves wrong for it, because that will only keep us trapped. And we really want to get out of the trap now and into the freedom and the beauty of what is available to us now that wasn't available to us a year or a few years ago. It's this whole new way of being that's being offered to us, and it's up to us if we want to jump on board and say yes to it and go along with what that's going to look like. And yes, that is scary, isn't it? Because we don't really know what it is yet. And maybe if you're like me, a lot of the driving force to move along with this is that, for me at least, I'm so fed up with the old system, with the old paradigm, with the old ways that things have been that I have tried to make myself fit into. And over the years, I've been stepping out more and more. But lately, it just feels like I just cannot do it anymore. I just have to get out of that paradigm. And I speak a lot about it right now with a lot of my women friends in my women's circles. We share a lot, and it's really nice to share it with so many, because I feel heard and understood and met, because most other women have that same feeling. And yet, we're at a place where we don't quite know yet what it's going to look like. So instead of waiting to step out of the old system, of the old paradigm, the old energy, until the new has been formed or shaped for us, it's not going to work, because there really is nothing new to step into yet. The only thing we can step into is that feeling in our heart, is that movement that is pushing us inside. So instead of stepping forward into some new way of being, it's more like a way of stepping back into your heart or into that energy and let that move you. And in doing so, that's when the new is being created. So we cannot compare the way the new is going to be with how the old has been, because they're two very, very different things. And we have to find the courage to trust this new energy inside of us and step into the unknown. Let the mystery of not knowing move our actions, our speech, our inspirations, and just start trusting that, no matter how scary that may be. When I get scared, it's like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing all these things and I have no idea what it is, where it's going to go to. Well, I just get in touch with my women friends and just share that. And then immediately I get this amazing feedback, amazing confirmation that they're feeling the same way. And then it's like, okay, all right, I'm not completely crazy. I'm not out there on a tangent all on my own. It just feels like there is really something happening, and we can start trusting that. So let's just take a deep breath together and really take that in. Really take in how this new is here. It's here for you. It's here for me. It's here for all of us who are ready to step into that energy and live in a place where we don't really know. I think also there's something exciting about really not knowing. When we always know what's going to happen, it can get a little rigid or a little limited. We kind of expect the same outcome, and we know it's safe and everything is going to be all right. But we are missing that aliveness in that, aren't we? We're missing that the new way that things can be. Maybe it is possible to live in a world where we live in peace and harmony within ourselves, within each other, within the planet. Maybe that's all possible. You see, if I go into my heart and really listen, that's what I feel. That is alive in me. And many years ago, when I experienced that for the first time, I was like, this feels so alive and so rich. And I couldn't really see it happening out in the world. So it would be easy for me to have dismissed it. But I did go ahead. I went with that energy. And I actually also write about it in the book I wrote several years ago called Imagine Being Kind to Yourself. I went with it. I wrote about it. I shared it. I wanted to make that energy kind of public. I wanted to bring it from the unmanifest into the manifest as a possibility. And even though a lot of people say, oh, come on, pie in the sky, it felt so big and so real and so alive in me that I really couldn't ignore it. And I didn't want to either. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because over the years, of course, I meet more and more people who've had that same vision in their heart. And it's coming out, it's growing, it's being spoken about, it's being shared. And the more we share that with each other, the more it can grow in all of us. It's like we feed each other with this new energy. We feed each other with this new energy when we share it with each other, when we write about it, when we talk about it, when we sing about it or dance about it. It's really feeding this energy inside, and in that way we feed each other, and then we allow it to grow everywhere. So this is my suggestion and invitation to you to start casting your vote on this new energy, how you're feeling it, how it's expressing itself inside of you today, tomorrow, the day after, every day. Start casting your vote for that and see what happens. If you're moved to share it with somebody, share it with somebody. If they don't understand it, if they ridicule you, if they think it's silly, just go to somebody else. But don't squash this. It's alive in you, and it needs you. This energy is moving you from inside because it needs you to have an outlet for expression. You see, that's why it's there. It's not there for you to doubt it or argue with it or push it away, whatever we do with that. It's simply here because it wants you, it wants me as an outlet so it can show up in this third dimension and make a change in this dimension. The energy where it's coming from, at least as far as I experience it, right here inside, it's fine. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to happen. Nothing needs to be denied, resisted, argued with. It's all just there, simply, peacefully, easily resting and being. But as it keeps expanding, it's expanding through all the limited beliefs and layers that I have been buying into my whole life, as we all have, because that's the energy we have lived in. But now this energy wants to start expanding. And the more you and I allow that expansion to happen, the more it can start taking birth, giving birth to itself into this dimension. Now, isn't that wonderful? I think it is just fantastic. And just feeling and allowing this energy to have a life is kind of magical and inspiring, and it brings such a great joy and aliveness to me. But it does not come without, my old little fears that want to contract around it and protect me and keep me safe. But after having been listening to this energy for quite a while now, I'm not really interested in contracting and moving away from it anymore. So here we are about to go on a break, and I was just going to give you an opportunity to just think about what that energy is trying to move in and as and through you. And if you want to share that with us, please call in after the break at 334-649-7204. And we're going to go on a little break now, and then I look forward to connecting with you in a few minutes.
And now a word from our Awakened Radio sponsors. Awakened Radio is brought to you proudly by the Creative Playground Mastermind. You can take part in a mastermind group by visiting www.thebarefootguru.com. The Creative Mastermind Group helps you to create a playground where you get to experience your life the way you really want it to be. Thank you so much, and visit www.thebarefootguru.com today. Awakened Radio at awakenedradio.net. We really are more than an online radio station. We're more like a family, working together as a team so that we all succeed. If you'd like more information of how to host your own show, how to get your message out to our global listening audience, come on over to awakenedradio.net. Look at the top under the banner where it says services. Check us out. Or you can add Awakened Radio to your Skype and just message Donna. She'll be more than happy to talk to you about how you can join the Awakened Radio family and share your message, your passion with our ever-growing global audience. Peace.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Evolutionary Women Radio Show. If you would like to know more about the work I do besides having my radio show here, you can go to my website, which is lillarose.com, spelled LILLAROSE.com. I would love to hear from you there. You can just browse around. I offer a lot of different things and ways for you to get in touch with your heart. That's really what I'm here for. That's all my heart wants. I tried to fight it for a long time, but I stopped, and it's just really what makes my heart sing, to see other women and, of course, other men too, just really get back in touch with their heart and start trusting it and start living from there. There's really nothing that gives me greater joy. So let's get back to, we were talking about these commitments. And since it is election day today, I just want to mention, you probably have heard about this story before about the women who basically risked their lives and their well-being in order to get women the right to vote many years ago. They really went through it. And the only way they could have done that was because they committed to something bigger in themselves, where they said, this is just not right. It cannot be true that women don't have the right to vote. It makes no sense. So all the things they went through, they moved through their fears, their challenges, their conditioning, the resistance outside. I mean, imagine the male resistance they had to go through on the outside, but they stayed strong. There was something bigger, something stronger inside of them that kept them going, and it was not easy, but they did it, and we are benefiting from that today. All the women are benefiting from what those women did, right? That's a huge thing, and we should all be very, very grateful that there were actually women back in those days who had the courage to stand up against the patriarchy, right? A patriarchy, it's obvious, it has to be the men who are in charge. And women were just second-hand citizens, so we didn't have anything to say. And it's different now. It's very different now. However, we are not free yet. We have come a long way, but there is still a long way to go. We're still caught in the old paradigm in so many ways. And at the same time, so we're stuck in the old paradigm, and at the same time, in the inside, there is this new energy pushing and pushing to get this new, through a new way of being. And you can compare it with, women getting the right to vote. Here, it is this new energy, and I experience it as it's going to be a whole new way of being. And that's going to be based on love, cooperation, inspiration, support. All these things that you can find right inside of your heart. It's important to start listening to the heart, to your heart, and find out what is it specifically for you. What is the flavor in you that wants to express itself? It does not have to mean anything like trying to get, what these women did back then to get all women the right to vote. That's not what it's like for all of us. For some of it, it may just be spending a lot of time in silence inside and really resting inside and finding a place of peace and ease inside and learn to move from there. And this is very much my own movement. But in that, there is apparently also a way of expressing myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this show. But if you're a listener and you have absolutely no interest in doing anything like that, expressing it in a certain way, that's fine. But what is it that you're interested in if you really listen deeply? What is it that you are saying yes to if you deeply listen? What is it that you're saying yes to if you had the courage? If you were not afraid, what would you be doing differently? What would you be saying differently? How would you let yourself be treated differently? If you were not afraid to say what's true for you. And a lot of times it can start out saying something like, no, this is not with me. You might have to say, enough. I'm taking a stand right here. And you can go this far, but I cannot allow you to go beyond this line. It is not okay with me. It's simply setting a very healthy boundary for yourself. And when you do that, that's when you create a space for yourself where you can start exploring your truth. As long as we allow the outside world, whether it is our family, our work situation, our boss, our children, our peers, it can be anything, the government, anything, as long as we allow anybody to step across the boundaries where we know that this is not okay with me, right? That's when you start feeling like, oh, now I know where my truth starts and your truth ends, at least in our relationship. Because if you don't feel that, if you're used to being used as a doormat for most of your life, and a lot of us women have, my goodness, it's been our middle name for so many women. And inside we knew it wasn't right, but again, in order to stay safe and stay secure and keep feeling loved, we allowed it, right? We compromised our own truth. We compromised our own values, our own core values, in order to stay safe. And it doesn't work. It will not make any of us happy, and it will not make a difference in the world. So if you're not fully in touch with what your heart really longs for, start paying attention to when somebody oversteps your boundaries and inside you feel like an irk or like a no, but you're afraid to express it. That's fine. Don't think you need to express it right away until you have found a new strength inside of you, so that you're coming from a place of true authority inside, where you will not be wavering. So when you feel somebody overstepping your boundaries, just start noticing, what is it in you that says no? Is it a feeling? Is it a feeling of anger? Is it a feeling of fear? Is it a feeling of weakness? Anything like that. It's a sign that somebody is actually pushing at your boundaries, and that it is not okay with you. this is a very good place to start listening to what is your truth and use that as an opportunity to explore what is important for you. Let's take a deep breath for a moment. I'm kind of moved to either to encourage you or inspire you to find out what it is that your heart really wants. What it is that you want to experience that will make you feel happy, that will make you feel loving, that will make you feel empowered. Not empowered over something else or somebody else, but just feeling empowered from inside. You know, it will give you a sense of aliveness and, oh, it feels good, maybe a warmth and an expansion, a joy. That's usually when we know that we're in touch with something in ourselves that is the right thing. So let's just do a brief meditation here, or just going inward for a moment, just to give you an opportunity to enter your heart in a conscious way and just, have a little conversation with it. It's a way of checking in with yourself. So just take a few deep breaths where you just let the breath help you enter into your body. So follow the breath and allow your belly to really expand fully. Allow your chest to expand fully. So you can feel yourself landing right inside of your body. And then if there's any thoughts, any concerns, you can, for this moment, it's going to be very brief, just allow all those thoughts to just drop down into your belly, the lower belly. And here they can be transformed into just energy instead of sitting up in your head telling you what you should or shouldn't do, or that things are different than they are. So just allow all those thoughts to drop down. And after you do that, then bring your attention to your chest, to your heart. And take a few breaths in and out of your chest, in and out of your heart, just as a way for you to connect with yourself. And if you really give yourself permission to let your heart just share uncensored, just for once, and maybe not the last time, but just give yourself permission to just explore a few of the questions that I'm going to ask you now. And let the answer come from this feeling in your chest. What do you really, really want? If you could have it the way you want it, if you could create your life on your terms, and don't censor it, just ask your heart, what would you want to do? What would it look like? To just let yourself play. Just let it all hang loose. What will really make you happy? Maybe something you remember from when you were younger. Or maybe something that you saw in a movie. It can be anything. It can be something you just imagine. Maybe you've never had the experience, but in your imagination, you know that this will make you really happy? What is that? So we're just exploring right now what is in your heart, what would like to express itself, and that you have not quite given yourself permission to find out about yet. What would you do differently in your life if you were not afraid? Or in other words, if you were not committed only to safety and security? What would you do? So whatever it is, just take a few breaths into that experience or into that unfolding of your heart. And I would invite you to allow that to keep expanding after the radio show today. But just for now, just feel it, get in touch with it, and give thanks to your heart for its willingness to share that with you. And then you can take another deep breath and just slowly start transitioning back. If you had your eyes closed, you can open them again. But if you can, really stay in touch with that part in your heart, because that is the part that you want to give a life to. That's the part that wants to take birth through you and as you. And these are the primary steps to get in touch with what your heart wants. It is something that it's not a mistake that that's here. It's something you came in here with, because it's kind of like a road map or a compass. And when you follow that, then you will be on the right track all the time. Even at the times when it may not look like it is, because your mind tells you it's supposed to look differently. But if you keep checking back to your inner compass or your inner roadmap that you find right inside these feelings of what you long for, of what makes you happy, of what inspires you right inside your heart, that is where you will find your next step and your next and your next. And it will make you happy because it is good. This energy is good. This new energy that we're all tapping into, it's ready to start bringing in a new way of being. And it is good. The old feelings and the old fears that we've had that things will not be good, that things will not work out, that the past is going to repeat itself, right? That's all energy from the old paradigm. And I know it's not easy to trust that it's not going to be different yet. I understand. I am having my own challenges with that. But I know that every time when I commit to my heart, when I really take a stand or cast my vote for what my heart knows, things keep changing. Sometimes really fast, sometimes really slow, and that's when I start doubting. So I think a lot of us are going through these same processes, but they're normal. It's just giving birth to something new, and we don't quite know what it's going to look like. But boy, do we feel the movement of this birth that's taking place. And I don't think we have a lot of choice but to keep following it. And I think we feel the less contractions, or at least that we need the contractions. That's kind of pushing it forward, right? The contractions, that's like when it's pushing through our own contractions of limitation that we have been living under. So there is no way to avoid that. They will be felt, they will be experienced, because we need to move through them and beyond them. So don't think that when you run into a contraction that means like, oh, whoops, I better go back into the womb. If that were the case, no babies would ever be born, right? So keep trusting the movement of the birth. Allow the contractions. The more you allow the contractions, and those could be the challenges that you run into, just grab the hands of your friends, those who can support you and root for you and be your doulas, to keep breathing, take a deep breath and just keep moving through this, because it really is like a birth for most of us. And again, we don't need to do it on our own. It's wonderful to have your friends around and just reminding you, it's okay, sweetheart, just take a deep breath. And when you take a deep breath, the contraction will soften, and you'll notice that you move through something into the next. And of course, where you finally will find yourself is right in yourself, in the core of who you are, both inside of you and outside of you. So where you are heading, where we are all heading, it is good. You can feel it in your heart. You can feel the goodness of the energy that wants to be born. The fear that we put around it is simply the old energy that does not know or trust this newness yet. But it is there. So please, my friends, just keep bringing your attention back to this beautiful place in your heart. Give yourself to it. Cast your vote for that. Trust it. Ask for support from your friends. Call in here and talk to me or talk to some of the guests that I'm inviting on the show here. And, connect with us so you don't feel alone, because you are not alone anymore. I can't stress that enough. You are not alone anymore. The new energy is such that we are not alone. We are moving into a oneness of being where we do not compete and compare. We simply cooperate, collaborate. We do it together. So if you can start trusting a little bit that is actually what's happening, and just go with that and see what happens. If you run into a block, a contraction, a challenge, fine. Take a deep breath. Just feel it. Move through it with love. Bring love into it. It's just contracted energy, right? And it's just fear. And it's those old places that want safety and security, hoping that that will bring you happiness. But it really doesn't, does it? So, I could probably go on with this, and luckily I have a weekly radio show, so I can keep talking about this and share with you and share with some of my other wonderful guests that I'm going to have on in the next weeks again. I just want to remind you again, it's in your blood, it's in your DNA, this newness. It wants you to give birth to itself. Are you willing to give yourself to love? Are you willing to give yourself to joy? to connection, to creativity? Are you willing to take a chance and let the safety and security go? Not totally, not in a way where you're not being wise and not taking care of yourself. Not at all. That would never be something that your heart would tell you to do. But your heart will guide you into what is safe and guide you away from what is not safe. So it's kind of a leap we need to take. We need to take that stand. So we need to cast our vote for our beautiful heart. Are you willing? I know I'm willing. And I'm willing to do it every day until I'm completely free. And even after that, I will keep casting my vote for my heart. So my friends, we're coming to the end of this wonderful show that I so enjoyed to share with you. If you would like to know a little bit more about this radio show, you can always go to evolutionarywomenradio.com, and you can find more about the upcoming guests that I will be inviting in, and you can learn a little bit more about what we're doing here, and always feel free to share yourself. And if you want to know a little bit more about the other work I do, because I do more than just this radio show, obviously, you can find a lot of information on my website about that too, where I love to help women finding their worth and trusting themselves and really knowing that they are loved deeply, deeply. I have a new product that's coming out very soon. It's a meditation and mindfulness CD set. I've been teaching meditation and mindfulness for many years, and I decided to create a product. So that should be up probably, hopefully in a few weeks, definitely before the end of the month. And so if you're interested in learning how to meditate and learn more about mindfulness, you can also explore that on my website. And having said that, then I want to wish you all a wonderful day, and thank you so much for being here with me and with all of us and sharing this energy together. And I look forward to seeing you all, no, not seeing you all, but talking with you and to you all next week. Have a wonderful day, and blessed be.
Awakened Radio is brought to you by our listeners. Those of you who enjoy our wide range of topic and our wide range of listenership. We really do cover the globe with thought and geographic location. Thank you so much for taking part, for coming over and joining us in our chat room, and for clicking that donate button while you're there. We appreciate your contributions. They are what has helped us to grow and will help us to grow even more. While you're at our website, please visit our Awakened store. Take part in our forum conversations. Check out all of the pages at awakenedradio.net. Get to know us. You'll like us. We're really a friendly bunch. Thank you for helping make Awakened Radio possible.